What's up guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we are checking out this Tern Off-Road Bronco OEM modular bumper Baja Bull Bar, fitting all 2021 and newer Ford Broncos with the modular front bumper. Now, if your front bumper looks too plain and you're looking to add a little off-road edge to it, whether it's for the styling or the functionality, this is gonna be a great mod to check out. Now, this will be great for the Bronco owner who's looking for wide and outward grille protection for any off-roading, no matter if you go all the time or just once in a while. Now, in addition to the protection, it also toughens up the look of the front end for some Baja-inspired styling if you want to step up your Bronco's appearance in a functional way. Now, this will feature the center hoop in the middle and reinforced tubes on the outer side spanning basically the width of the front bumper, and will be fully welded for a solid design. Now, this will come up to the midpoint in the grille and angle outward in front of your Bronco, allowing this to take the brunt of whatever obstacle that you may potentially come in contact with, whether it's a shopping cart in the parking lot or brush or trees off-road. Now, it also won't completely obstruct your cameras, being visible on the forward-facing camera and non-visible on the 360-degree view, so this will still function properly while allowing you to keep those factory features. This is made of a tubular steel construction, powder coated in a black finish to match the factory front bumper. Now, both the tubing and the finish will be tough, allowing it to take any hits to protect the front end and resist any surface damage that could potentially expose the metal, and it will help resist any rusting on the steel underneath. Now, this will also be completely bolt-on in the factory locations on the bumper, allowing for a direct fit with no questions asked. Now, this is about $400 and is an add-on, so that's pretty average in price point. Now, compared to other additions in the category, this one will offer a lot of wide coverage with the reinforced tubing on the sides, and will have a lower profile appearance, not coming up too high on the grille or out too far in front of the Bronco, and it's not going to completely obstruct the camera, making it a solid choice if those qualities are what you're searching for when it comes to sharpening up the look of your Bronco. Install here is going to be as easy as it gets at a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and it should only take about 30 minutes to get the job done. Now, speaking of the install, one of our customers here has installed this on their Bronco and is going to walk you through the details of how you can get this onto yours at home. So that is going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and jump into the install.
The tools we'll need to accomplish this will be a T40 Torx bit. I've got it on an extension here. I've got a 3/8 inch ratchet to drive that. I got another short extension in case I need it here. We'll need a smaller, also a T40 Torx bit, but a small size one here that we can get up there into that spot just under the trim on the front bumper. And we can drive that with a 1/4 inch wrench as well, just by actually slipping that over the bit, essentially. I noted that that's on pretty tight, so I also have a crescent wrench that I can utilize to put on that bit as well to give me a little more torque to turn that initially to get it loose. And we have a 13mm wrench. The purpose of that is for reinstallation. There are 4 bolts on the accessory that are going to be hard to reach and hard to reuse, the factory bolts. So they provided 4 13mm bolts that we can utilize to replace those factory Torx bit bolts as well. So the bar itself came pretty well packed from the manufacturer, with a lot of foam and plastic around the bar, and then it was packed in the box with spray foam insulation, so it's quite stable in the box and seems well protected. Today we're going to be installing this Tern Off-Road EA3-M1 Baja Bull Bar that I purchased from Extreme Terrain. This is going to be on a 2023 Ford Bronco. This particular one happens to be a 2-door Badlands with the Sasquatch package. And it has, of course, the modular front bumper. This accessory fits the factory modular front bumper. This will require removal of 10 T40 bolts from the front bumper. the two on each end of the bumper, one on each side that's tucked up under the trim here on the front, so that one's difficult to get to, so we'll have to talk about that. This lower one here, and this interior lower one here, and then the exact same on the other side. So I think I'll start removing the easier ones first. So I'm just going to use my 3/8" drive ratchet and a T40 Torx bit on an extension. And I really just put the extension on here to help me stay away from the paint on the side of the Bronco. So I'm going to set those over with my tools so we don't lose them. Two on the far end. We're going to do the widest one down low on the front of the bumper. Looks like each of these factory ones has a washer behind the Torx bolt. We're going to do the inner one on the top, on each side. Now we need to do this outer bolt that is tucked up under the trim on each side. So this one's a little tougher. We can't do that with our 3/8" ratchet. So we're going to use that short drill bit sized T40 Torx bit and our small wrench. But I may cheat at first to get a little more leverage with this crescent wrench to get them loose. This will be the time-consuming bolt to remove. Now I might switch over to the small 1/4" wrench on the end of the bit. Give me a little more speed, hopefully. If you have a ratcheting drive 1/4", which I don't, I only have larger ones, that would be really good. A ratcheting drive 1/4" wrench. Now we're starting to loosen up. We just barely finger loose, so we'll get that one out. We're going to be replacing that one with a 13mm hex head, so that'll be a little easier on the install. Now the one on this end. Feels pretty good now. Let's see if we can get it out with our fingers. Okay, got that one out. I believe that will be the worst part. Now that all the bolts are removed, this should set into place. And it looks like we've removed all the right bolts. So we're sitting over the holes. I think I will start with the 13mm bolts that need to be installed. Those bolts come with their own lock washer. And then there are 10 flat washers. So presumably one flat washer for each location. The purpose of the hex head 13mm is for these 4 tight spots, which I'll show you where they are. One is the front one on the bumper end. Remember, in the lock washer on each one, and flat washer. So there's one under the curve on the far end too. I'll lift up a little bit to get this one in. In fact, I probably needed that in before I got this one in. So loosen that one back up. Loosen this one as well. All the way to the other end, it's not one to line up yet. For proper alignment, I think I'm going to loosen the other one. Notice that with some of these accessory bolts, they're kind of fun to get aligned sometimes. Yeah, I think I've gotten these pretty well aligned for these 4 non-factory bolts. Now we're going to reuse 6 of the factory bolts with the large flat washers provided with the kit. I'm going to get those all started before I tighten anything to ensure the good alignment. There are a couple of reasons I chose this particular bull bar. One, I liked kind of the Baja look out from the grill a little bit rather than one tight to the grill. At this point, I don't intend on installing a winch, but I think there is a winch plate that works well with this bar too. And then the other reason I wanted this one, it's the only one that I could find that rode under the Bronco logo on the front of the truck as well too. Like to still be able to see the Bronco logo. Let's get the last 2 in partially. So this really is not bad. I think the hardest part is getting those 2 bolts underneath off and then getting everything to align again. And this last back one on the passenger side bumper end. Whoops, don't do that. I'm going to start tightening these ones now. Now we'll go back and get the 4 non-factory bolts, the 4 13mm, which are started but not tight. Oops, that wasn't one of them. If you have to run a front license plate like I do in my state, This bar is also above the license plate as well too, which is kind of good. Back to our 13mm wrench. And you kind of need the wrench because it's pretty tight. I don't even know if I can use the box end on this wrench. I have to use the open end. Yeah, we're getting tight on the lock washer there.
So that is going to wrap it up for my review and the install of the Turn Off-Road Bronco OEM Modular Bumper Baja Bull Bar, fitting all 2021 and newer Ford Broncos with the modular front bumper. And you can find this right here at extremeterrain.com.